let's go back to history. So you see, cluster bomb was an old concept which came in the 1940s. And the invention of the cluster bomb was carried out by the Germans first. And the Germans used it against the Finnish people, the people from Finland. So the thing is that they actually took a wired mesh, and in that they put in huge quantities of hand grenades, and within that whole compartment of the missile, it had they had surrounded the bomb in an outer layer of the grenades. So what happens is that when this bomb is released, it has a timer, and once it reaches a certain height just above the ground, that can be, you could say, 100 meters or 150 meters above the ground, or maybe much before that, that the outer body of the bomb opens up, and then the wire mesh disintegrates, and these pieces of bombs, which are almost similar to hand grenades, they get cluttered or scattered in a certain area, or which might be in kilometers, and within the radius of that certain area, it can be 500 meters radius, it can be a 1 kilometer radius. It depends that lower the height at which it opens, lesser will be the radius at or the spread of the cluster bombs. So these are like grenades which fall in the whole periphery or in the area, and then these bombs explode on impact, hence releasing thousands of pellets around, which act like bullets, and any human within the proximity of this area is fatally injured. So this is basically a area weapon. And the problem with this bomb basically happened. See, in 1940, it has been used in the Vietnam War. It has been used in the Korean War. It has been used in the Falkland War, the Falkland Island, the war between UK and Argentina. So these cluster bombs were used then, and approximately 80 bombs, like cluster bombs, were dropped by Russia in the year 1995 against Chechnya. So all the modern warfare, be it even Kosovo, cluster bombs have been used. Now the problem with these bombs is most of the pieces at times do not explode, and they are scattered at different locations. So maybe after I mean, the longest duration of a cluster bomb exploding has been after 15 years. It has been documented, and it has happened in Afghanistan, that after 15 years of that cluster bomb having gone stray, there were kids playing, and one of the kids lost their legs. So over the period of time around the world, be it the Armenian Armenia Azerbaijan war, or be it the Russia Ukraine war in 2014 in Crimea, so there have been multiple reports of elderly people who usually take the safer routes, or detour of the main conflict zones. So these cluster bombs have been found there, and by mistake they have been stepped upon, and elderly people and small kids usually end up losing their limbs. So in the year 2008, in a convention on cluster munitions, there was an international treaty that stockpiling and transfer of these weapons is banned. And on 1st of August 2010, there was a treaty which was signed, by 111 countries, and later on 12 other countries joined it. So approximately 122 countries have signed a treaty in which the use of cluster bombs is banned. However, there are few countries which have not signed this treaty, which includes the United States, Russia, China, India, Israel, and Iran. So, unfortunately, the most responsible countries are the ones which have not signed this treaty, which bans the cluster bombs. And basically, the reason why it is done is it is very indiscriminate in nature. that even when the conflict gets over, after many years, there's an explosion in these areas which were, once hit by the conflict. So it poses a significant threat to civilians even post the conflict, and this might be in many years can go by, but it leaves behind a de facto minefield kind of a scenario where the civilians are very openly exposed to it. So keeping all these in mind, there has been prohibition of acquiring, stockpiling, transfer, production of these cluster munitions. And then, clearing of their cluster bombs in areas is a very, very expensive business. It does not come cheap because the risk involved is very extreme. So the areas to be cleared of cluster bomb is a very expensive thing to do, and moreover the victims and the compensation rehabilitation that is to be done again causes a lot of expenditure and problems for the government. So keeping all these things in mind, this is what the cluster ammunition is all about. So this is a weapon system which has been banned by the United Nations in the year 2010.